I could go out here rapping about a life that I don't live, or doing something or saying stuff that I'm not really about. Like, I don't think that makes you cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you just stay true to yourself, then who cares who likes your music and who doesn't? You know what I'm saying? What matters is that.
On the mic, episode 18. I'm your host, aka Ethan. Today, the Super Bowl just passed by, so that's gonna be very interesting that we're gonna talk about later on today, as first off. But as I promised, episode 1, if you guys have seen the original on the mic episode 1, where I was gonna talk about sports, I was gonna bring out artists, I was gonna bring out special guests. Today, I have an artist with me today. His name is Ian'95. How you doing, my man?
What's going on, E? How are you?
I've been doing good, man. Just enjoying this lovely day in South Florida. Just it's kind of sunshine. It's not snow. I know. I heard you got snowed on a lot in the
Yeah,
past 2 weeks.
you're lucky you out there. For real. It's cold over here.
Oh my god, I think you had like a bad storm over there, like a bad snowstorm. It was like about maybe like 10 inches of snow or something like that.
Sir, that's sir. We definitely have. Crazy.
Jeez, I will never last up north. If I ever go north, I'd just be shivering. Any like a football player that never played in the cold. I swear to God, man. I swear to God, man.
Yeah, for real. It's cold over here, man.
But yeah, man, welcome to the show, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I always watch you ever since Lady Miss. Shout out to Lady Miss for recommending me
Yeah,
you.
out to her.
When I heard your music, man, it was like I gotta use this in my videos because when I was still like more hybrid with the highlights more, I use your music with the highlights and your flow was really good. I can tell you that for certain, Ian.
I appreciate that, King, for real. I appreciate that.
You got some talent. You're going somewhere. I feel that. But just to let's go back to where it all started. The music. Where did the music come from in your life, Ian?
Uh, well, basically, I always been around music. Always been like a huge fan of it. So, like, you know, I want to say like probably like around like late high school or like after high school ish. I started like trying to like start my own music stuff, like trying to be like on my own route with the music stuff. Cause I was like, yo, if anybody could like go out here and make music, like so can I. And I like it too, so why not? You know? So I tried different things, like I started downloading like different softwares, started buying like different softwares to like actually go out and venture on that, you know what I mean? So it started off with I tried to like focus on making beats or like trying to like pursue making like beats and stuff. So like I started like messing around with like different programs to do so. And then as time went on, I just kind of like fell in love with like trying to like make my own music, because I also have friends who make music too. So I was like, yo, like I could do this too. Why not? So I just started like writing music, started recording my own music, bought mics, bought speakers, like invested in getting like a laptop that could like support different softwares for that. That was it.
Yeah, I feel you there. I remember I used to know a producer that had a crappy laptop and she could never save any of her freaking music. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Because I remember during like a couple like my first year of my podcast, like before like my first year of podcast, I was kind of into the music. I was kind of like what you were saying, kind of writing your own music and stuff like that. I never got to the singing part of it, but I was like writing my music always come from the mind and through the heart.
Yeah, for real.
Like
When I was younger, I used to always write down like lyrics in like a book. So I always knew that like I liked and enjoyed that tip of the music aspect, which was like songwriting and like development and like making music like verbally. So I always knew from like a young age I liked that. So I kind of try to implement it now, and I also like working with like different artists and stuff, that's always a good like experience as well.
yeah, especially with collaborating artists. That I always love seeing. I always love seeing that artists you never think that will connect, but they actually will connect. That's always the fun part about it. You just never know what can click and what goes out in proportion. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy how this world is, how music can change a lot of things, which that's why I always love music, because it always makes me pump up for anything. Like if I was like, say, working out or I go to the game or something like that, it's just very revolutionized, because I came through a background where my mom is Hispanic, where she would play like a lot of Hispanic music, and it was the reggaeton and all that. It was always trust me, like it gets you dancing, man. Especially with R&B. R&B, I started in love with that too, and rap, because it kind of gets me up and moving today. With
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
especially with the underground music. Underground music be good at times too. At the same time, because you
Yeah,
hear all the mainstream and all that, but then when you really listen to underground, it's like, damn, how are these people not even up there yet? They sound great as hell.
yeah,
You
like
feel me? Like that's what I feel sometimes. I'm like, how do people not know this guy right here? But they know who Drake is, or this, or Sierra. No, not Sierra, but Party Next Door. There you go.
yeah,
You feel me?
yeah.
But yeah, man. Let's talk about your latest EP and album that you did. So the EP, Ian and Friends. Explain to me how Ian and Friends came together for EP, the EP right there.
All right, so like Ian and Friends came about because honestly, after I dropped my first project, after I dropped 95 Dimensions, one of the producers that actually produced the first track on 95 Dimension, Flood Beats, he had like reached out to me after I had released 95 Dimensions, and he was just like, yo, man, like I love like what we do together, like making music wise, you know? So like he was like, yo, we should like work on like a full-fledged project together or something where like, I give you these beats, you record to them, and like, let's do this, put this together. So I was like, yo, sure, why not? So he sent me like a massive amount of beats. And from there, that's how it originated. Like I recorded some of those songs on the project. There's only 5 songs on Ian and Friends. So I want to say probably like 2 out of the 5 were songs that like I recorded like right away when he sent me those beats. I picked out like 2 out of like the massive amount, recorded to them, and I was like, yeah, like I was like, yo, I'm on a roll. Like I'm gonna bang this out and just drop it whenever. So after I recorded to those 2 songs, I started taking my time with the project. So I was just like, yo, you know what? Like, what should I name it? Like, let me like focus on like a general idea first and then, work my way to like the main objective of it. So I was like, yo, I need a name, I need a cover art, I need XYZ. So with me doing that now, like gave me more time to be like, yo, you know what? Like, I want this person on this song, or like, I want this person on that song. So like, let me work out with them. Let me go like link up with them and
Yeah.
make or I could take the route where I just record all the songs I want for this project and be like, all right, it's just me. That's it. But one thing I did say to myself, like, once I started making music, is that I want like any amount of music I drop off to be like an odd number. So like my first project was 9 songs. Ian and Friends was 5 songs. So I'm always aiming for like an odd number. I don't know why. It's just something that came up in my head. So I was like, you know what, let me like just do that. Just
Interesting.
you know what I'm saying? So like that's what made me chose the number of songs that was on this one. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, at first it was gonna be 7. It was gonna be 7 songs. And I
Really?
also have like 2 or like 3 leftover songs that should have made Ian and Friends, but it didn't. Cause like I had recorded this. This is how I do like with anything, like project wise. I record like a massive amount of songs and then I pick and choose what I want. It's not like I record 1, 2, 3. All right, that's on that. Then I record 2, like another 2 songs. All right, that's on this project. Like, nah, I record a bunch, then I pick and choose. So that's basically how it came down. Like anytime I recorded a song for that project, I sent it to Flood, let him hear it. He was like, all right, bro, this is fire. Like, let's put it on this. Then I'll send him another song that I recorded. All right, bro, let's do that. Or I'll record one song and I'll send it to him. But yo, I'm not too sure if this will fit the vibe of the project. All right, so boom, we're not using that. So like
Yeah,
that's
it goes
how,
in the storage unit right there. Okay, this can be spare for another album or another EP.
yeah, or just like a single or
Or like a
something. So
single. Yeah, you're right
that's
there.
how we did it. The cover art now for the project, um, I had like met this kid through what was it? Either Facebook or Instagram. And like he does like digital art. So like I was like, I think I commented on one of his posts and I was like, yo, bro, like this is fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, nah, this is really heat. So I forgot what the picture was. I think it was like a picture. Oh, you know what the picture was? The picture was of like the Avengers, because he's like super heavy into Marvel.
Yeah.
So it was like Avengers. So I was like, yo, this is dope. This, that, and the third. So ever since then, I wrote out to him. I'm like, yo, bro, like, let's work on something. Like, do a cover art for me. Like, I got this project coming out. How much for like a cover art? This and the third. So like, he gave me his pricing, and I paid him for it. And then after that, like, I was like, yo, this is the vision of it, bro. Like, I'm naming this Ian and Friends. Like, I'm into Pokemon. I'm into Kingdom Hearts. I'm into like different like weird anime stuff. Like, that's just who I am. So I'm just like, boom. Like, I want this for the like vibe of it. Like, can you do that? And he was like, yeah. So
Yeah, that's what I noticed in the cover. I just saw it was like an anime. It's like an anime of you right there, and then with Pokemon and Pikachu right there, and the center of all of them right there. I was like, okay, this.
I was like, yo,
it makes sense. It makes sense. It's like Ash and Friends, and then it's like Ian and Friends right there, and it visually shows that on the cover art of the EP.
Like it just fit, like it just like made the vibe so much better for you. So I was just like, yo, that's crazy. So shout out to him, man. His name is Danny. So shout out to Danny, man. Like he's
shout out to the man Danny right there for that cover art of his on Ian and Friends, man.
Real.
But the album that I really love from you though, 95 Dimensions, excuse me. 95 Dimensions, man. I want to know, where did Ian'95, like the 95 come from there, and then explain Doubt It, because that one was the most loved song from your on Apple all the time.
Nah, yeah, for real. Yeah, like all right, so Doubt It. Hold on, let me start. But like the project,
Yeah.
95 Dimensions, like the cover art for that now was made by my roommate in college, one of my roommates named JJ. So shout out to him. He like used to mess around with graphic designing too, like as like in his like spare time, you know, like he would do that for like fun. So I hit him up, letting him know like the vision for that project around the time I was working on it. And that project literally took me like so long to finish. And I'm happy it did. It taught me a lot in the process of like working on music, trying to perfect your craft and like working on your sound, as well as like finding yourself as a person and an artist. So I'm grateful for that time. Like I released it December of 2019, and I was working on that since like the beginning of 2018. So like it was legit like a whole like almost 2 years, literally. Like
yeah, you understand why those artists take a long time to perfect their craft.
Exactly. So I totally understand why like other artists, like popular artists, take forever to drop something. And like people will be like, oh, why didn't he didn't drop music in mad long? Like I can't wait no more. Like I understand like the pressure, but I also understand the process, because like just because like you work on something and you like it or whatever, like at the end of the day, I think like when it comes to music, as long as you like it, that's what matters. The message or what people perceive on it, that's for the people, you know? Mm-hmm. But I also understand you don't want to rush nothing either. You don't just want to put out something, because then you don't like really put out like no value, or like you don't really put out something that's well thought out, you know what I'm saying? So the process of that tape really taught me a lot. Like I said, like it taught me so much stuff. And I'm happy it took that long of a time for me to drop it, you know? And it was only 9 songs on that, you know? So I understand like the process.
The number comes in there
with it, for real. So what you said, the meaning behind my name.
Yeah.
All right, so like the 95 comes from the year I was born. I was born in 1995. So that stigmates like the name of it, you know, that right there. And I don't know, like I always wanted something to do with numbers. Like I said, like I'm very like high into numbers. Like I really understand, like I really like understanding numbers and like the origin of numbers. So like that kind of like why. And they're both odd numbers too. Like
go figure that
like I like odd numbers, because odd in the dictionary kind of like depicts as the meaning of being like weird, standing out, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Something that doesn't seem to fit social norm. So I feel like my whole life I kind of felt like that too. Like I'm different, like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm different in a good way than other people, you know? So like that's where it stemmed from mostly. Like obviously Ian is really my first birth name. Like that's my real name. So I just combined the two, like, all right, boom, like there it is. And I just stuck with it ever since, you know? So like people that I work with on music calls me that, you know, like they'll like before, like even when I was trying to come up with my stage name, you know, people would like shoot it at me because I was thinking about doing that, you know. So it's going with that name. So it kind of just stuck, and I just like, all right, I like it. Why not? You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. And you said you wanted to talk about Doubt It, right?
Yeah, Doubt It. That one I always like. That was like the first one I ever clicked on, and that was one that really clicked to me. Really, I feel like
Doubt
just
It.
it's like really
Um,
appreciate underrated, man.
that song was like, no, that song was so good, like so well put together, and I'm happy for the success of that song too. So like originally the song was supposed to be just me and Rory originally. So I know Rory prior from like him doing his own music on like the solo tip, you know, like I came
Yeah,
across it and I always became like a good like follower of him, and like, you know, like we would talk, you know, whether it's on Instagram, messaging, whatever, like we would always keep in touch. And like this is before like his career fake kind of like took off too, because he's actually doing like really good on the music scene. So we
nice.
kept in contact, you know, we played Xbox together, I got him on Xbox, everything. So like
Yeah,
I reached out to him, I'm like, yo, bro, like I want to like work with you on the song. Like I got a song for you that you will fit the vibe to, you know? So I sent him the song, you know, he did his thing. He sent it back to me. And I was like, all right, this is perfect. I'm about to like write to this and like record to this like ASAP. So he sent me back just the hook originally. Like he did the hook. So he sent me the hook and he was just like, you know, do your thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna send it back to you so you could do your verse, you know, because originally it was just supposed to be just me and him.
yeah,
So he sent it back to me. I go by Soraya's house because Soraya had at the time, like she has a studio at her house. So I went there. I recorded at her studio, which was downstairs. Was playing the song, recording it, this, that, and the third. And I told her, and I was like, hey, like I feel like, do you want to be on this? Like I know you sing this and the third. You want to be on this? So she was just like, all right, yeah, like I'll try. Let me just go on it. Like let me try. So I already had my verse recorded. I mean, I already had my verse written down and recorded at her house. Like I went there, I recorded it, boom.
yeah.
So it literally took the entire day. So I already, like I said, I already went in knowing what I was gonna say because I had it pre-written. So I went there, recorded it. Took me probably no longer than 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, quick thing.
After that, focused on Soraya's take on it, you know? So now I'm staying like the whole day with her. Literally, it took the entire day for her to come up with that with her verse, you know.
Yeah,
So she recorded her verse finally after like taking the entire day, and it came out very good. So I was impressed. So I was like, yo, like this is taking a whole nother like route than what like I originally envisioned it. So it was dope. It was dope. Like just for her to like actually go in the studio because she doesn't have any music for herself that's out, but it's just her. So for her to like hop on this song and we put out this song and it actually like did like well, like did like good numbers and actually got like people's attention and actually had people listening was like a huge like accomplishment and a huge milestone for her as well as me and as well as Rory and as well as Love who's on it, Lil Love.
no
And
love.
like Lil Love got on it now. He was mixing and mastering like a couple of my songs. So for him to like hop on too, like I sent it to him and I'm like, yo, bro, like hop on this too. Cause there was a space from Rory's hook leading into my verse. Like there was like kind of like a mini bridge like left of like bar space for you to
Yeah,
like make music. So I told him like, yo, bro, if you could just come up with a bridge just to fill up that gap, that would be perfect. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, yo, I got you. So he recorded that small little bridge after Rory's hook, sent it back to me, mixed and mastered it completely to like the quality that you hear today, sent it back to me. And I'm like, bro, this is fire. This is fire. Like I was literally to that song for like literally months on straight. And I'm just like, nah, this song is so fire. So um after that now, like I wasn't gonna release it the time that I released it. And kind of Soraya and Lady as well as Lady Miss kind of like influenced me to drop it the day I dropped it. back in June of 2019. So we dropped it. It got premiered on DJ Cisco's radio too. So that was huge too, because he has like a huge following based on his radio station platform as well. So for him to play Doubt It on his radio station kind of like was like making me believe more in myself as like actually making music too. So I was just like, yo, like this is fire. Like people are like really liking the song, and like, you know, Soraya's getting like thanks and praise for it. Same here with me, you know. It was doing crazy. It was blowing up. So I was kind of like happy for that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just the little things that kind of like made it more special, you know?
Yeah, like just trust me, like that music to that song was flowing strively well. Like you just goes from you to Soraya, the little love, and you want one of your what was the guy man? I'm sorry.
Rory, Rory Fresco,
Rory
Lil Love.
Gasco, my bad there.
Yeah, just very
But
well
hey,
put
that
together.
that song flow, and I understand why people praise that song a lot, especially when you listen to it, and it really builds well to that album 95 Dimensions. If you really think about it, because it really when you see Doubt It, it's kind of like dimensions that going all around. It's like, okay, I'm doubting things, you know.
Nah, yeah, like
It it
the
flows.
reason why like I named it that project as well, because like dimension, like every dimension is different, right? It
Yeah,
signifies a different type of like everything's different, like, you know what I'm saying? Like each dimension is different. So the songs that I chose for that project kind of like shows that I was trying to like make sure that every song sounded different. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
didn't want one theme for that project. I wanted, like, as soon as you heard rock bands, it was going to be different than One Time. One Time was going to be different than Can't Relate. Can't Relate was going to be different from Doubt It. Doubt It different than Road Rage, you know, and the list goes on and on. So I wanted each song to have a different vibe and a different feel. That's why I named it 95 Dimensions. A play on my name and a play on, like, you know, dimensions. Each dimension is different. So I wanted each song to kind of like, if you listen to it, it brought you to like a different like element, you know?
Yeah, that's what I kind of noticed about it. Like from Road Rage, like you said, like I listened to featuring Will Power, which shout out to Will Power there. And from
Nah,
Road
but
Rage
I
to
wasn't
Doubt
on
It.
Road Rage. Road Rage was it's just Keith and Ali Griff on
Oh,
Road Rage.
oh, that
Yeah.
he was not. Oh shoot, that's my fault. Oh my god. Hey, but you can tell the difference from each song though. At the same time, from 95 Dimensions though, you just it just flows right through there from Doubt It to Road Rage and to others, man. But that album was nice as heck, man. I could tell you.
Nah, it was
Yeah,
probably, I was very like happy that it came out the way it did, you know, because a goal of mine for that year, 2019, was like, I'm gonna release a project, like I'm gonna do this. So a lot of like goals that I had written for that year actually came to fruition, and I'm happy it did the way it did, you know. So
yeah,
like I
because
said, like it's crazy because Road Rage was the fifth song on that project, and it was the last song to be done. Like it was the last song to be like mixed, mastered, like finished completely. Was Road Rage. The first song I think I had finished for it was Purgatory. That was the first song I like did for the tape. That was done. It is crazy. Like the order is not based on like how the songs were made. You
no, it
know?
was just mixed. It was mixed in
Yeah,
there. How, depending where you put it at. It's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
so this one did it first, and that one, and then so on and so forth. You know.
yeah. So the way I chose how the order for the track list was that like I listened to the project in its entirely, and I was just like, yo, what? How would it kind of like flow, like based on like how I'm listening to it, like go from rock bands to One Time, and then, you know, One Time to Can't Relate. So like it just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you were
I
just
was just like,
picking it out how you were gonna order
yeah,
the list out there.
yeah, trying to figure out how to like structure it the way that I would like it. So that's how it came about, to be honest. And I'm very, very happy about the project, and I'm very, very like pleased with it. You know?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you gotta be pleased with the project, how you did with the process of it. If you didn't like it, then that's a different story. Then you should kind of wait
Exactly.
on it a little bit. But if you thought it was the greatest thing, you put it out there, and then the people will determine how it went. You know, at the same
Exactly.
time, that's how you gotta think about it. You know, you just gotta keep doing it. Just keep on the process, no matter how much either you've been down or stuff like that. But you just gotta keep going. You gotta keep rolling with it. You know, just gotta
Exactly.
But hey, man, but you gotta be on an album pretty soon. You're gonna be on someone else's album pretty soon, February 16th. Lady Miz kind of shouted out a little bit. Be on the track of Mason and Uncle Jay.
Oh
You're
yeah,
being featured on there as well on the album as well. Ian'95. I saw this. I'm gonna
yeah.
pronounce this now. Sierra Alexis. If I'm not pronouncing that right, hey, I'm not good with pronunciation, so
Ah,
my
yeah.
English is not my
Um,
favorite subject. So some English there. But hey, man, let's talk about that one right there.
yeah,
That's coming out February 16th. Pretty soon,
we're
actually.
working on a compilation album. Actually, is me, Lady Miz, Soraya, uh, Mason, and Cash on Able. It's gonna be us five on like a compilation album that Lady Miz is dropping. So yeah, the first track is dropping February 16th. Where it's her, Mason, and Uncle Jay. And I think the name of the song is Freedom, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
Yeah.
that song is fire. And like, yeah, we like that project is not completely finished, but it's like I want to say it's probably like a good like 70% to my knowledge, like done, you know. So yeah, that project I'm excited for it too. Like everybody that I just named that's on it is super talented, you know, super unique in their own way. So I'm just honored to be on it, you know, to be on that project, let alone, you know. So when that's finished and we have a set release date for it, then it'll be like public knowledge. But yeah, that project goes crazy. Like it so far, what I'm hearing so far, based on like the tracks that we have and stuff,
Yeah.
it's fire, man. It's fire. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So February 16th, yeah, Freedom to be on all streaming platform services. So look out for it.
Yeah, definitely look at it. Imagine the album just goes with your odd numbers. It ends with the odd
Yeah,
numbers.
fire. Yeah, we love. So like,
Hey, it's
yeah,
like Ian'95 coming on. We gotta make it odd.
yeah, yeah. Let's do it. You know,
Yeah,
like
that'll be actually laughing. That actually happens. If it actually, I'll be like, "Yo, I called it. I actually called it. This man actually was gonna on
yeah,
this album with an odd number tracks
yeah, for
flow with
real.
his name, man. That's gonna be very interesting. And something I saw on your Instagram the other day, I saw you had a plaque of Michael Jackson on your walls. I see Travis Scott. I see Michael
Yes,
Jackson,
sir.
the bad album. Actually, let me put it that
Yes,
way. I've seen the Travis Scott. I've seen Kid Cudi. So,
yes,
so I'm pretty sure that's your inspirations from your music.
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like when it comes to my inspirations, yes, like Michael Jackson is definitely like one of my biggest influences. And like you might not hear his influence in my music, but like he influences me in like different ways. Like just besides just being the legend pop star that he is, you know, he inspires me to just be yourself, you know. And that's the message that I try to like persuade people to my that listen to my music is just to be yourself. You know, like I could go out here rapping about a life that I don't live or doing something or saying stuff that I'm not really about. Like, I don't think that makes you cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you just stay true to yourself, then who cares who likes your music and who doesn't? You know what I'm saying? What matters is that somebody's going to feel it because there's somebody out
Exactly.
there into the stuff that you are into, whether you think so or not. So yeah, Michael Jackson is definitely one of my biggest influences. You know, like he's one of my favorite like artists of all time. Michael Jackson. He's like in my top 5, dead or alive, like for sure. Travis Scott too. Like I like Travis's music. I was a big fan of Travis Scott since like high school. So to see like the level of like fame that he hit, it's kind of like is like influential as well as like just being like I said, staying true to yourself. Like his music doesn't sound like anybody else's or try to bite off anybody else's sound. He's being like himself, and that's
Yeah.
what's making him successful. You know, like the saying goes, like it's easy to be somebody else or like copy somebody. The real challenge in life is being you and being what you want to be. Like staying true to yourself. You know, why be somebody else when you could just be yourself? You know,
Be your own creator, be your own artist, be your own business guy, be your own this, anything,
exactly,
honestly.
exactly, and being yourself
Which I get
shows.
that. I get that. For always tell people that you gotta stay true to yourself. Always say that to everybody that I always meet. It's like, hey, if you don't like doing this, gotta stay true to yourself. Do you want to do this, or do you want to do something you love to do? I love doing this. I love doing podcasts. I love interviewing people. It's always interesting to me. He's always finding everybody's people. Everybody has different backgrounds, so you never know. You can just pick out of them. That's an
Exactly.
example of that.
Exactly.
Feel me?
It's good to be yourself. So yeah, Michael Jackson, Trav, Kid Cudi. Growing up, like one of my favorite rappers was T.I. Like in like grade school.
Ooh,
So I like
right.
label him as like an inspiration as well. Like his like I'm talking like old T.I. Like I'm talking like Paper Trail, T.I. trap music T.I. Like that was like one of my favorite rappers. Like I used to know like all his songs word for word. Like he's a legend in my eyes. So yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
it.
a
Like
true fan right there. If you know every single lyric, that's a true fan right there.
yeah, for real.
That's how you know you a legit fan of theirs, and then you could say it to them, they're like, "Damn, you remember
For real.
that?"
Like, I always got love and respect for like the Jay-Z's, the Kanye West's, like, those are like, influences as well. But the main ones were the ones I just named, like they made
TIMJ.
me when like becoming like finding myself in my music, you know? And once I like figured that out, saying like, just be yourself, music creating music became like more easier to me and more fun because I'm like, I don't gotta go in thinking too hard. Like, all right, how am I gonna attack this song? Like, what am I gonna talk about? Like, I'll just go in like, okay, what is Ian's life like? Or like, how does Ian feel today? And it just flows because it's easier because I'm just speaking from the heart, the mind and the heart. And it makes it easier because I'm like, yo, like I could just sit here and rap about the stuff I enjoy or the stuff that I see in my everyday life or the stories that I've been through, like stuff I've been through. And it just makes the process so much fun and so much easier. Cause like I'm like, yo, I'm talking about what I've been through.
Yeah, it's like writing a book, honestly, but it's like you're just writing like poems, honestly, and with the lyrics.
Exactly.
That's exactly how being an artist is. It's like if you're writing a book or a poem, you're just writing out what you truly feel from your environment, where you've been through, and things like that.
Exactly.
You know. But as I mentioned, I was gonna talk about the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl did come. We're gonna talk about the weekend's performance as well. See how he did during the performance. I think he did pretty well to me, if I'm being honest.
No,
But
he did his thing. The Weeknd did
and
his
he did
thing.
it. He did it all himself. He paid 7.5 million to do the halftime show. And I think he
Yeah,
did performance well. And he did his own vocals. If you noticed that he did his own vocals. Although with that camera, and when he went inside that building, that camera flow, that got me
yeah.
dizzy. I was like, "Yo, what the hell is this man doing?" I'm
That
like
was
getting
like
like I was like getting like droopy. My eyes were getting droopy. He's like, "Yo, this man need to stop moving the camera, man." Like, I know it's a halftime show, but shit, like, come
nah
on, chill with the camera, dog. but he
on
did
you.
a hell of a performance in the halftime, though. I think so. I know my family didn't like it because they were used to the hype, all that, with the music, especially since their Latino culture there. So,
Yeah,
but to me, I always liked his music. I love the flow of it, and it was pretty good. And just from going all the way from the top to the bottom quickly, that was crazy. So he did a
yeah.
hell of a great job on the Super
Weeknd
Bowl.
did his thing. He did his thing for sure.
He represented Canada. I can tell you that much. He represented Canada there, and no one knows the weekends from Canada. Man, this man Drake was promoting the hell out of the weekend at the halftime, representing Canada. But yeah,
The
man.
Weeknd.
But the weekend did pretty awesome with just the COVID as a COVID halftime, because especially he didn't bring out nobody else. It was just only him. It was only him and his
Yeah,
and his music. If you notice
got
that.
COVID guidelines, this stuff that's going on. So yeah, I understand why he did what he did.
And I remember him say, when I saw like a little interview, he said like, "Well, we don't know if there's gonna be anybody there, or maybe 20,000. You never know, but we will still perform like if it was like people there." So, but
Yeah,
he performed well. I'll tell you that much. But to the game though, it was almost like a blowout. Honestly, like after the first half, it was a blowout. If you saw the game, you and like
yeah.
in the end, it was just a blowout. You just never saw like how the Chiefs were playing during the playoffs. If you noticed that,
Yeah,
it
I
was
kind of like thought the game was over. Like after Tampa Bay scored their first touchdown and it was like 7-3, I was like, yeah, I kind of figured. I was like, yeah, it's gonna go Tampa's way. Cause like I feel like they came out more hungry, like especially that defense. So like
oh my
shout
god.
out to like Todd Bowles and everything. Like, he really coach those guys really, really well.
You send them for real, especially with that struggling Chiefs O line.
Yeah, yeah, and they didn't even have their starters either. I didn't realize that
Nah,
until
they didn't have no starter. Like most of them were injured, so they had to shuffle around
yeah.
like their secondary, third, and I was like, ugh, this is gonna be tough. But
Besides the quarterback, I feel like the second most important position in football is legit the offensive lineman.
it's a
Like
line. If you don't have a line, you ain't going nowhere.
offensive linemen, but like y'all, like they're really vital to that game, and that game just showed it. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
You notice how Mahomes was still throwing those balls either way. He was about to get sacked though.
Yeah,
He's like, this man is a magician. Like Chris
like
Godwin
he was
said, like, damn.
him, but like that just shows that like that offensive lineman position is just as valuable as the
As a
quarterback.
quarterback.
Is just is one of the most important positions in football. You know, like with no offensive lineman, you have nobody protecting the person that needs to score you points. You know, so like
Yeah, like
I
from the jump, it was like, I mean, there was like a stop that the Chiefs did like in the first half that they stopped them on the goal line, but I thought they
yeah,
were maybe you thought like, okay, this is where they're gonna come back. This is because they're always like the comeback people. Every time they're like they've been always comebacks, especially like a 24-0 deficit at one point in the playoffs before, so
yeah,
they're used to that. But
yep.
they never came back at all. They only scored 3 field goals, which is rare for that team to score because they're used to
And,
scoring touchdowns all the freaking time. So
but like I feel like the refs were kind of working for Tampa Bay low key throwing like there was
I
a
mean, like
drive.
there was like maybe 2 plays that I will understand that, but like most of it, like impactful, it wasn't. At the end of the day, it wasn't like the score wasn't close. You know,
Yeah, true. That's true.
like if the
That's
score was close, I think we could talk about a different story. But if it's like 31-9, it's like yeah.
yeah,
In the
for real.
beginning, yeah, like I can tell you one example, like the Mike Evans hold in the end zone. That one, I was like, that man, that ball overthrew, and it's still like, hey, it's holding. That's holding on defense. Matthew. Yo, the funny thing is, you never seen Tom Brady run fast and going chasing after Matthew after the Antonio Brown
Oh yeah,
touchdown in his career.
he ran after him and like a little trash talk was
Bruh,
exchanged.
like that's how you know that's the fastest Tom Brady's record on the 40-yard dashes right there. I'm telling you right there. That's his 40-yard dash right there.
For
Chasing
real.
after Matthew.
I agree, man. For real.
I swear, but it was entertaining. Like the halftime was entertaining. That was probably the only thing that was inspectable besides like the game. The defense of the Buccaneers was fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, that defense was immaculate. Like just watching them play, I was just like, wow, like you could tell they wanted it more.
Oh yeah, you could
You
tell
know?
they were hungry. They knew they didn't want to win. They didn't want to do a 1-year wonder, and then they're out of the picture. So
Exactly.
it just shows the GOAT is still on the top with 7 rings. That's still
Yeah.
crazy. In the NFL, 7 rings. He has
No,
more rings than
don't
any
like
NFL team. Any NFL team. That's the most craziest thing.
for real. As much as one person can say they don't like him, you gotta respect him, man. He's the
Yeah.
GOAT, man.
Especially since he was in my division all my life. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know that.
I
I
know.
call him the GOAT, but I still don't wish him luck.
Yeah, man, I'm
like,
right there with you. I'm
like
right there.
that's how I feel. That's how I feel with Tom Brady. But
But
yeah, man.
you
No,
can't discredit talent, you know, or
the talent is
greatness.
there.
Yeah.
He's been doubted ever since college, honestly.
Yep.
Michigan. So he's been always doubted. So it's a legend.
So
That's
for
why everyone still doubts him still to this day, even though he proves it wrong. Oh
yep,
man. That's the most craziest thing, man. But Ian, man, I really do appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. Keep doing
definitely.
what you're doing, your work, man. I'm gonna be listening to the Lady Miss song, and then hopefully I'll hear a lyrics from you, man. Hopefully there'll be new music coming out soon for you. Sometime
Yeah.
maybe in the summertime. Who knows? Maybe get that summer vibe kind of going, flowing in South Florida. Who knows? Or
Yes, sir.
or upstate. So who knows, man? I really do appreciate you so much. If you have anybody to shout out, you can do that right now.
Shout out to everybody.
Hey,
Everybody doing their thing. Everybody chasing their dreams or goals. Shout out to everybody. Much love.
much love indeed. Much love indeed. Thank you guys for listening to E on the Mic, episode 18. I'm your host, E, and I'll see you next time, episode 19 for TV on basketball. Till then, see you then.